Hey folks, this is Chad at Apsona.com. I'm just gonna, on this video, show a couple of details about calculated fields and some of the issues that pop up and how they can be solved. Um, so I'm not going to get into details about, how calculated fields work and general concepts about them. We have lots of videos and documentation. This is a great article that goes really deep into them. I'll put all those links into the description. Today's just really specific about a couple use cases. So what we have here is a multi-step report. You can use calculated fields in single-step reports as well. And you can see that we have one step on opportunity. We've got a couple amount fields. We have some blanks and some values. And you can see that things are summing properly over here. This is a calculated field step. So I'll just quickly show you how this is structured. The first step is just a typical step on the opportunity object. The second step, you choose calculations with formulas, and then you go to the second tab, and you can add fields here and do calculations. So you can add fields by clicking this button. I'll get rid of this one. And then you can go in and edit these fields, and you can insert fields by just going to this reference spot and choosing the field that you want to reference in the formula, and it'll automatically put it into this little window here. So this is real basic. We're just saying that, we're adding amount one to amount two. You can see the syntax that the calculated field needs. Calculated fields are based on JavaScript, so they need some specific syntax. So to reference a field, you use curly brackets, exclamation point, and then you note the step name, and then a period, and then the field name. And so we're just adding those two together. That's pretty basic. This next example is similar, but what we have here is two different steps. So I have an opportunity one step and opportunity two step. And the difference here is that on the top row, you can see that two opportunities were returned, and we were able to add them up just fine. We got the total over here. On the second step, though, the second opportunity didn't show up based on the criteria. So this isn't just a matter of being a blank field, it's a missing record. And in that case, the calculation breaks down. It can't add this 13 to a null. So I'll show you how to solve that. Real quickly, I'll show you what this is looking like on the inside when we go to the calculation step. It's going to look just like the other one, where we're just adding the two together. And the difference is that we are referencing different steps, not just the different fields. So that doesn't work between two steps if there's a missing record. This next is the solution. So you can see here now it's properly calculating. It's treating this as a zero. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And this is the most common question that comes up from calculated fields when people are trying to add different values together. So we'll go to edit and we'll go back into this step and I'll show you the way that this is made up. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger on the screen here. So rather than just reference the field, what we have to do is a little bit more complex, but it's not that bad. We're basically turning each field reference into an if-then statement. So we're basically asking, is this field populated? If so, then show the value. If not, then show a zero. So the way that that's structured is we're going to wrap this whole statement in regular parentheses here. You can see those parentheses around this whole first section. And then we put the field with the curly brackets as you saw in the last example. This question mark means that you're basically asking the question, is it populated? And then if it's true, if it is populated, then you put in what you want to happen. And what you want to happen is just to simply reflect that amount. So you just repeat the field name. And then the colon is the else. It means what if the statement's false? Then what do we do? If there's no value, then what we want to do is show zero. And that way we can add zero to the next thing. And then we continue to follow that format, asking the same question of the second steps field. Is it populated? If so, show it. If not, zero. If you're putting a bunch of different values together, you just have to keep repeating this, and then it should work just fine. And so as we saw when we ran this, it considers the blank a zero here, and it does it right. The last example is a little bit different. This is about concatenating values into a single list. So this comes up somewhat regularly as well. I'll show you how this is structured in just a second. You can see that I have an account and then I have three contacts from that account, but they're shown they're not shown in rows, but they're shown kind of horizontally, and then we're able to combine them. So let's dig a little bit deeper here. We have an account step. We have a contact step that is linked back to that account. And the difference here is that we are showing these steps results in column blocks. I'll also put a link for column blocks into the description to give you a bit more details about that. I'm going to uncheck this really quick just to show what normally would happen if I had a contact step where there were three contacts associated with one account. So we'll save and run this, and it's just going to show them in rows. So because they're in rows, I can't calculate them. I can't concatenate them into one list. Calculated fields really function at a row level. They can't look down different rows and do calculations amongst several rows. So the trick is we need to get all of these into the same row so that the calculated field can then look kind of horizontally and combine them. And so that's what this showing steps in record blocks is all about. You do have to identify how many record blocks, so I'm doing 3 here. And then the way that you then calculate this is same thing, you add a calculation step. And what we're going to do this time is we're going to reference the field that we want to add up, but it's the same field. It's the first name of 3 different contacts. And so in order to have the calculation know that it's looking at 3 different specific names, you have to call out the step, or sorry, the column block number. So there were 3 blocks that we're creating, 3 columns. And so what we do is we append the step name contacts with the number of column that it is. So column 1, column 2, column 3. And by calling those out separately, we are then able to have the calculation look at each column as its own unique column and then add them together. And the structure of the statement is basically very similar. We're taking the first name, we're adding a comma and a space in quotes, and then another plus sign, second name, etc. So kind of similar where we're adding it up, but this is more of a concatenation calculation. And I think that's it. So there's plenty more to calculated fields. This is just the basics, but these are a couple common use cases that come up a lot in support tickets. So I just thought I'd address them with the video. Thanks so much.